Cook, meanwhile. Have you guys been following this one? Lisa Cook is the first black woman who was ever nominated to the Federal Reserve. Now, that's neither here nor there unless you're Hakeem Jeffries, in which case you say the president can't fire her because she's the first black woman nominated to the board of the Federal Reserve Governors. I'm sorry. Again, we're getting away from this. Please, can we finally? Lisa Cook in all kinds of trouble. Today, she and her lawyer were there in court. And what was being discussed was whether or not the president could indeed fire her over these mortgage fraud allegations. What she is accused of is now actually a third thing. So there were two issues. Apparently, she declared 2 homes as her primary residence. You can't do that. You understand, if you have a vacation home and you have a regular home, well, your vacation home, you're going to pay a higher mortgage rate on. You can't have 2 primary residences. But according to Lisa Cook, allegedly, she did. And so she hasn't really offered any kind of explanation as to whether or not she did this or not. I mean, I kind of appreciate, did you not? No. She went out and hired Abby Lowell, who is Letitia James's lawyer, who was Hunter Biden's lawyer, and by the way, is about to be John Bolton's lawyer. Abby's having the best year of his life, right? He's making like legacy money for himself because all these people keep hiring him. So Lisa Cook is being accused of a third thing, which is having yet another place, I believe this one was in Massachusetts, that she was using as a rental income property, but she was calling it a secondary residence. And so again, there's a discrepancy there between secondary residence versus the income property. So all kinds of messy stuff that Bill Pulte over at the FHFA, he keeps finding all this stuff, okay? So this is the Federal Housing Finance Authority. Bill Pulte is out for blood here, and he's got some goods on her, allegedly. So there was this court hearing that happened in Washington, D.C. today. The judge actually punted. They're not yet going to rule on this. Trump has said, look, I believe that this woman committed mortgage fraud, and thus, because she did that, I am within my right as President of the United States in terms of upholding the law to make sure that she's removed from the position. Now, what does the left tell you? Oh, the left tells you, oh, this is no big deal. This is no big deal. I mean, I believe that Paul Krugman tried to equate it with cheating on a 3rd grade exam. I mean, I'm sort of blown away by these people, how they're willing so consistently to dismiss things. Oh, it's no big deal because it's their side. I mean, if it was the other side, you better believe it. You better believe that they would be all over it. But for some reason, oh, if it is a Democrat that does anything wrong, let alone the first black woman to ever serve on the board of the Federal Reserve Governors, suddenly it's the equivalent of just screwing up on your 3rd grade test. I don't think so. I actually think it's a really bad thing. And I'm actually with the point of view, and Howard, our Commerce Secretary, Lutnick, would say this. He actually said this the other day on CNBC. Like, I'm sorry, like, you really shouldn't be on the board of the Federal Reserve Governors setting interest rates when you're out there. If this is true, again, allegation at this point, getting a sweetheart deal yourself. I mean, for goodness sakes, everybody else in America is having to pay these higher rates, and you're the one who keeps rates going up. So I'm sorry, like, I realize that you got your workaround, but what about everybody else? So again, this is what was being discussed in court today, and the judge declined to actually come forward with a full ruling right now. I will also point out that after the hearing, basically they had 2 hours of arguments without a ruling. Cook's request for a temporary restraining order on the president has been basically punted. They did not rule on that. So she wants the president to not be able to remove her from the job. She hasn't been removed from the job just yet. And this is what's kind of interesting. I want to show you what Bill Pulte over at FHFA put out moments ago. He said, CNBC reports that Jerome Powell has continued to let Lisa Cook have access to her office and her electronics, despite the president of the United States of America ordering her firing. All right, now we're getting into a serious game of chess, because if these 3 allegations are true, and if the president of the United States has ordered that this woman be fired from her position, there's only seven spots there on the board of Federal Reserve Governors, including Jerome Powell, and Jerome chooses not to do it, then can you ask, if the judge eventually says, yeah, Donald Trump was right, can Trump fire Jerome Powell for cause? Because that's the whole issue. Does he have cause to fire him? And would the cause be insubordination? because somebody who should not have been sitting on the board, if again the allegations are proven out, continued to sit on the board because Jerome allowed it? That's an interesting question. That's why I say, we're really getting into some very interesting territory. And I'll also say this, wow, Bill Pulte's at it, right? Because you don't only have Lisa Cook, you can see her on the list, primary residence in Georgia and Michigan, and then of course the secondary residence, which was really an income property, I guess, in Massachusetts. Then you have Letitia James, okay, and all that's going on with Letitia in New York and Virginia. And then you get Adam Schiff, in California and in Maryland. So he's finding a lot. And it just makes you think, one, why do we have such corrupt people in such prominent positions? Again, if these allegations are proven out. And two, who's next? Right? Is this what everybody in DC is doing? If Krugman thinks it's the equivalent of just cheating on your third grade exam, maybe this is really, really, really widespread. And if so, there's going to be some problems, big problems. I want to go to another big story right now. Cracker Barrel. Oh my goodness. We thought the problems were over for this company. And yet, what do you know? The co-founder of Cracker Barrel came up with some choice words. Let me just give you a preview.
Well, I heard she was a Taco Bell, but what's Taco Bell know about a Cracker Barrel?
Good point. I think Taco Bell and Cracker Barrel are two very, very different kinds of companies. But you see, the woman who came over to run Cracker Barrel, Julie Mazzino, she used to work at Taco Bell. What did I tell you guys? Remember when I was looking at the pictures of the redo and I said, my gosh, it's lost all its charm. It's lost all its character. It looks like some kind of, sort of higher end Burger King. I guess I meant Taco Bell. Who knew? I think she's getting aesthetic. I'm like, who came up with this? Well, none other than Julie, who was on ABC Good Morning America trying to tout it and say it was greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, customers disagree, and wait till you hear the rest of what the co-founder had to say.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together and every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
Oh, really?
So because the feedback and the buzz is so good, not only from our customers, but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So we're doing everything for our guests and our team members.
Now, I don't know who's telling you that, Julie, but I guess they're just telling you what you want to hear. Because when this really got rolled out, what did you see but fury? People were like, we're going to boycott this thing. They can't stand the remake. Well, you know who else really can't stand the remake? This is Tommy Lowell. So he is one of the co-founders. They co-founded this thing, he and a guy named Dave Evans, back in 1969 in Lebanon, Tennessee. And it was made to be like a country store, right? That's the whole aesthetic when you go in, and it's really charming and kind of neat. And you get to stop there on the highway or maybe after church on a Sunday. And boy, oh boy, they gutted that. They gutted the very essence and the heart of Cracker Barrel. And that's why people were so mad. Listen to what the co-founder had to say. He's 93 years old, and he gave this woman a real piece of his mind.
Logo rolled out the other day.
Oh, that's crazy. That's nothing. It's a bland nothing. It's pitiful.
Do you think she knows the story of Cracker Barrel?
I don't think so. I heard she was a Taco Bell, but what's Taco Bell know about a Cracker Barrel? And country food. And the food is something that they need to work on. Spending $700 million to do that is all I've been doing. I'm just throwing money out the street.
Because Cracker Barrel is no Taco Bell. Or Taco Bell, I should say, is no Cracker Barrel, right? Completely different genres, totally different food types. And it goes with exactly what I said. I thought that the redo looked like a spiffed up Burger King. What I really meant, I guess, was Taco Bell. I didn't realize she used to work at Taco Bell. Here, a few things along the way. They have decided to changed the logo back to the original. So Uncle Herschel, he remains. They also got rid of their LGBTQ plus alliance. They're now actually deciding to get rid of that pride page. And on their website, they have a whole page devoted to food insecurity. So they're taking the message, but the message has been coming through loud and clear because people are furious.
Even the apology is getting backlash. Cracker Barrel spending $700 million on a rebranding plan that they say will turn the product from old rustic to perhaps more modern streamlined. Customers say that's just a giant helping of biscuits and bologna. They don't like it. So after a week's worth of backlash, the Tennessee-based company did put out an apology statement of sorts, which said, in part, quote, "We know we won't always get everything right the first time, but we'll keep testing, learning, and listening to our guests and employees." But the mea culpa, well, it didn't go down that well. Critics called it lame, and social media lit up with comments like these, quote, "You kicked Uncle Herschel to the curb. Now you are paying the price. Own it and stop making excuses." Another wrote, "Eating Sunday supper in a place that looks like a car dealership does not say vintage Americana." But the company's new logo, let's begin there.
Look, the stock went way down and then it recovered a little bit. Donald Trump weighed in. He gave them some advice. He said, just apologize. Recognize the fact that you got $1 billion worth of free publicity. Tell everybody that you screwed up and move on. And that's what they're trying to do. But you see, again, this is getting in the way.
I heard she was a Taco Bell, but what's Taco Bell know about a Cracker Barrel?
Nothing. Okay, clearly nothing. So they're going to have some more work to do. They're certainly going to have some more work to do. Let me see if I can tell you what the stock price is doing today, because initially it was just getting hammered. I mean, unbelievable stuff. And, people were encouraged that they were willing to listen to the customers, that they were willing to act quickly because, so many times if you look back on other situations like this, think Bud Light. What happened in Bud Light? With Bud Light, they just tried to grin and bear it. And they tried to stand by Dylan Mulvaney and this, that, and the other. It's down 0.4% today. The Cracker Barrel Old Country Store Inc. It's had a very, very rough ride. Very, very rough ride. And I imagine it's going to continue to be a little bit bumpy for this company for the foreseeable future until they figure out a way to really win back customers. And it's hard, right? Because once you do this, once you go woke, you go broke, as we like to say. Taking a look at the markets right now, very good news on the economy. U.S. second quarter GDP coming in. What do you know? 3.3%. It got revised up. It had been at 3%. Now it's revised up to 3.3%. That is above what analysts thought, which was about 3.1%. So that's some very good news. And why is it happening? AI boom that I keep telling you about. I mean, this is another reason you got to go to my company, 76research.com. Use code word dollar. Look at these stocks. We've had a tremendous run. This is for the 12 months ending 7/31/25 in our 3 model portfolios. But you can get the very basic newsletter for $1 a month for the first 2 months. It goes to $9.95 thereafter. You should do yourself that favor because I think there's still a lot of opportunities. I am a long-term believer in the American stock market and certainly in the MAGA movement.